Hi, and welcome to the professional audio area at this year's Sony's 2017 NAB exhibit. My name is Andy Munitz, and I'm product manager for the professional audio products. At our display this year, we have two of our series of wireless microphones, our UWPD series and our DWX series. As well, we're showing off some of our portable audio recorders and some very interesting microphone technology, as well as some new applications for some of our wireless microphones. Just a brief overview, and to refresh, we have our UWPD series of wireless microphones. And this has been a very popular series for us because it is a very feature-packed series of wireless microphones at a very reasonable price. And as well, we also offer a 2-channel portable wireless receiver. And this adds compactness to putting 2 channels of wireless on a camera rig. But one of the very unique things that we do with all of these systems is we have a certain architecture for interfacing these wireless receivers onto many of Sony's cameras. And that is through an architecture called multi-interface shoe, or MI shoe for short. Basically, you would just take this little sled adapter, slide it onto the wireless receiver, put this right onto the camera, and you're done. You don't need any additional XLR cables or any other kind of things. As a matter of fact, in most cases, you don't even need to put batteries inside of this receiver, as audio goes from the receiver down into the camera through the shoe, but power from the camera's battery comes up through the shoe and powers the receiver. So a really fast way to get your wireless receiver integrated into your camera. We also this year are showing a 2-channel slot-in version of our UWPD wireless receiver that fits into the back of many of our shoulder cams and can also be integrated in other kinds of various sleds for remotely powering just the receiver as well. So that, as a brief overview, is our UWPD series. We have lots of information on our professional site that go into more details. The other family of wireless products that we have is our DWX series of wireless. What's really unique about this series is that it is real, pure, true digital transmission. In other words, once the signal comes in through a microphone, it goes through a mic pre, and then it goes through an A to D converter. And now your signal is in the digital domain. And from this transmitter, we actually transmit a bit stream of ones and zeros. Those ones and zeros get picked up at the camera or at the rack receiver, whatever the receiver happens to be, but it's receiving a bit stream of ones and zeros. So you haven't lost any of that sonic purity that you started out with at the transmitter. In the case of the camera, that digital audio goes and gets added directly into the video file and is AES audio as part of the video file. The signal then goes through video post-production, the audio stays digital, and it can even get transmitted to the home digitally, so that the very first time the signal gets turned back into analog is at the home TV speakers. So we really try to hold on to every ounce of quality that you started out with. We like to think that using our digital system is equivalent really to plugging in a microphone with a cable, and that's what we try to do. But there's another unique capability that we've added. Our clever engineers have come up with a method whereby even if this transmitter is buried under talent's clothing, from the receiver, remotely control all the settings on the transmitter, nominally up to about 30 feet away. So should you decide at the camera, I want to change frequencies, I want to change microphone preamp, I want to change the power output of this, I want to put in a low-cut filter frequency because it got windy, or it's time for a lunch break, just from the receiver, power this down remotely and put it into a low-power sleep state. When you come back from lunch, simply remotely turn it back on and come back up. Those are just some of the clever capabilities, and we call that Sony Cross Remote, and it's part of the DWX series. We also offer DWX as well as UWPD in various transmitter styles, not only body packs that you would use with a lavalier, but plug-on transmitters, which are great for stand-up news, and also various styles of traditional handheld microphones with interchangeable capsules, so on and so forth. So that's two of our very popular wireless systems. At the show, we're also showing our two portable audio recorders. A Pcm D100 is quite unique in that this can record not only the traditional formats, but it also records PCM up to 192 sampling frequency. It can even record in DSD, direct stream digital. The microphones go out to about 35K frequency response. It is an exceptionally high quality portable recorder. And also, we are showing our ICD SX2000. This guy also has little aimable microphones, and these go out to about 40K frequency response. It can record up to 96K 24-bit quality internally, as well as all the MP3 variants and things like that. But what's particularly unique about this guy is that this can be remote controlled from a cell phone app. So one of the problems, normally with a portable recorder is you want to place it close to the sound source, but you may not be able to stay there with it. Well, now via a Bluetooth connection to your smartphone or tablet, either Android or iOS, you can remotely monitor the recording level up to 40, 50, 60 feet away and change the recording level and make sure that everything is great and you're getting the best recording possible. Now let's have a look at a different part of our display where we're showing off a different application for some of our high-end digital wireless microphones. And here we are at a completely different area of our booth where we are highlighting movie creation, actually primarily using our Alpha series of cameras, but it gives us an opportunity to highlight the fact that our digital wireless and our analog wireless actually can be used in large-scale film production, episodic TV production, TV show production, and the really exciting thing is there are a huge amount of new episodic TV shows and series being created every single year. And on set, there is a tremendous amount of wireless microphones that get used. Many times, a lot of talent have their own body packs, but it is commonly recognized that about 70 to 80% of all dialogue between actors is accomplished with a boom pole held out of shot, out of frame, but directly above actors. And sometimes you may even have two boom pole operators. But a boom pole operator's job is to tilt the microphone back and forth depending on which actor or actress is speaking. That said, we have an exceptionally high quality way of capturing that sound. Again, here we are showing our DWX series of digital wireless. In this case, we're using it with our plug-on transmitter hooked to a very high quality shotgun microphone. Actually, it's our ECM 678. But that is broadcasting digitally back to different kinds of receivers. Here we are showing on the bottom one of our 2-channel rack receivers, which might exist in a moving mobile audio cart. However, a lot of times work is done in the field for production sound mixers. And here we have a rack of 6 channels of our digital wireless. We have 3 of our portable 2-channel digital wireless receivers that normally slot into the back of our shoulder cams for traditional ENG style news capture. But in this case, we have little accessory buckets that are physically tied together. So in a very small amount of space, real estate, we have 6 complete channels of digital wireless. Those are feeding out, in this case, to a Sound Device's 688 portable field mixer and recorder. And again, audio quality is pristine. It's like having a wired shotgun microphone on set, but it is wireless. Now, another thing that is also very important, especially in these spectrum challenged times that we live in, is that our DWX wireless series of equipment has a very wide bandwidth, and because it is digital, it can even allow for having up to 50% more channels occupy the same amount of given TV channel bandwidth than with traditional analog systems. And certainly when you have lots of actors and actresses around, that can really help out an awful lot. And now, just to finish off, let's go have a look at a really unique microphone. Here we are in front of a completely different microphone, one that we've not normally brought to the NAB show. You might notice that I sound a little bit different. That's because this is our highest end studio microphone called a C800G. But it happens to be a tube microphone. And many years ago when we were designing this tube microphone, we tested all the tube microphones and we found out that they all tended to sound a bit different on a day-to-day basis, and that was largely because of the temperature of the tube would maybe be colder or hotter on a day-to-day basis, also depending on the temperature of the studio that they were in. So our very clever engineers, looking to be able to control the temperature of the tube, and how do you do that? They came up with a really unique approach of employing a semiconductor device called a Peltier device. One side of a Peltier device heats up, as you might expect. The other side of the Peltier device cools down and actually gets cold, and now it's used in car refrigerators and things like that. But what our engineers did is they said, let's take the cold side of that Peltier device and lay it right next to the tube so we can regulate the temperature of the tube to yield the absolute quietest noise spec that this microphone is capable of. And that means keeping the tube at roughly about 13 degrees Celsius or low 50s in Fahrenheit. You still, though, have to then be able to get rid of any of the heat that may still exist in a tube. So they employ a heat sink out the back of the microphone. But what is really special is the way in which we get the heat from the tube area out to the heat sink. As it turns out, there is a little fluid-filled tube that carries the heat away. But the fluid in that tube is also very unique in that it has a boiling point right around the temperature of the tube. So when the tube heats up, the fluid turns into gas. It gets carried out through the top end of that tube to the heat sink, gets rid of the heat. The fluid condenses, goes back into liquid form, and travels back to the tube area, and you get a constant convection loop, getting rid of the heat that the tube generates. So this is the C800G. It is a favorite amongst high-end recording artists, hip-hop people, and it's a lovely sounding microphone. So, C800G. And with that, we'll just close things out. Thanks for joining us today at our professional audio booth here at the 2017 NAB exhibit. My name again is Andy Munitz, and if you would like more information on any of the Sony professional audio products, just go to sony.com/proaudio. Thanks very much.